All right, so welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades Cheesesteaks. We're on episode 47 now, really getting into that. Today we have a special guest. We got Brandon Cottom. He's a former teammate of Tim and mine at high school football. He also played at Purdue. He was a Seattle Seahawk, a Salt Lake Stallion, a Philly Soul. And also, I just discovered the other day, he put in a Survivor
Oh man!
to become a little Survivor member. I saw the video; it was hilarious. I loved it.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey man, we do our research here.
Yeah, that's funny.
I love it though. So you got to tell us how are we doing on the search? Are they hit you back? Yeah, because you got my vote.
Nah, yeah. So they actually did hit me back. I mean, right now they're still like casting. So they're casting for 2 seasons. They're starting to shoot the first one, and then they're still in the casting process for the second one. So I'm kind of going through it right now. But that's funny that you saw that.
Hey man, it was a good look. I was like, I love it. Yeah, even the dreads, like you got the tribal look going, man. And
yeah, man. We'll see. I mean, shit.
If I'm going to get
$1 million, I'll find a way to win it.
I love it. Hey man, I believe that. You got my vote.
But yeah, so Brandon, if you want to just quick introduction of who you are, where you've been, then we're just going to go into a couple questions about your career in football and stuff like that. So floor is yours.
For sure. Obviously, my name is Brandon Cottom. Went to Purdue University, studied aviation management, professional flight. So I'm a pilot. Currently, right now, I work at cybersecurity. It's a family security firm. My pops is CEO, president. So it's kind of learning the reins from him, getting ready to take over, and
big boss.
Yeah, making business moves. He really is just wants me to step into that CEO role and president role. So I'm just kind of learning the business, learning my guards, and kind of navigating that. And then I'm also got my own personal kind of endeavors going on. But really during quarantine, it's just been about trying to stay healthy and been working out a lot, trying to get back right. So the biggest thing I've taken away from it is trying to stay healthy. Really.
Well, it sounds like you're keeping busy, which is nice. And hey, I'm sure your dad loves having you, getting ready to fill those footsteps there, being the boss man.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's ready to retire and start traveling. I mean, because he already travels enough as it is, so he's ready to just be off and not have to worry about nothing. So he'll get there eventually.
No, he's seeing the palm trees and the beaches and Brandon handling all the tough questions from now on.
Oh yeah, that's what he wants for sure. That's really what I've been doing, what I've been about lately. So staying healthy, staying positive, and keep my head up during these hard times, because with the pandemic, it is kind of crazy nowadays. So
absolutely, and we thank you for coming on. And I know you've been a busy man right now, so we appreciate you making some time. Like you said, you're kind of working with your father right now in security business and stuff. And it's funny, I actually I remember one, like, just a really random memory of one day in practice, we had there was like a plane that was flying over really low. You were like, "Oh, look at that! It's it's a Boeing 757 WX2Z, whatever." And I was like, "How the fuck does he know what that is?"
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see that was you continue to pursue that that interest.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the big reasons I chose Purdue, because for one, it's Big Ten football, so it's best of the best, and then also I could pursue flight, because I had always been in flight since I was a young kid. So I knew I was like, I'm either gonna be a pilot or an NFL player. So kind of worked out, how I needed it to. So
absolutely
covers pretty much the whole spectrum there. I like that.
Yeah, man. I'm a man of many talents for sure.
I gotta say one thing. Since you're talking about you're about to take over for your pops to become the big boss. You look like you got the boss chair already. That is like one of the nicest chairs I've seen. You got like some nice sketching on it.
This is the office right now. This is where we get a lot of work done, a lot of meetings.
I was saying, dude, you have the Zoom background of a boss right there. I immediately thought, I was like, he looks like a boss.
Yeah, this is the office, man. You gotta
I love it.
How you want to play. So,
hey, man, I feel that. You got to look the part, right?
For sure.
Awesome. So I feel like the one thing I'm super curious about, being that you did get to spend time in the NFL. I think the one thing a lot of times we hear from the outside is that, the speed is the biggest difference between college and the NFL. So I was curious what your kind of thoughts are. Do you think that's accurate? What was your real first impression of the league?
I mean, I will say that is accurate, but I would only say that's accurate for like the linemen. The big fellas, they move on both sides of the ball. for me, I think the biggest difference was the way that people prepare and the way that people treat their bodies. As far as like the off season, massage, in season massages, everything, chiropractor, like investing a lot of money into your body, knowing that is your business. Mm-hmm. So I think, just the way that people watch film intently and, really actually study the game. They know what's going on. They know little nuances, like little things that a lot of times you're not even thinking about, they're picking up on. And, the way that, they become students of the game, that's the biggest difference. That's what really separates, great players from these, NFL elite, because anybody can, run a 40-yard dash or whatever it may be, but not everybody can see a cover two and know, all right, I need to go this way. I need to do this, with the shade or whatever it may be. So the way that people prepare is definitely the biggest difference to me. But the speed of the game, yeah, it's fast, but not too much different than college, honestly.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, yeah, that's a good point. It's like everyone's an incredible athlete in NFL. It's kind of, how do you take that next level? Put the mind into it. Mind and body.
I mean, you looked at two of the greatest that are still doing it, LeBron and Brady. They spend so much money, on their nutrition and their body and stuff. So I'm not surprised at all that was like your immediate, like, wow, this is the big leagues. This is what we do. So.
Yeah. You have to. I mean, you have to take care of your body. In order to perform at that level, you have to do the extra stuff, because it's not just going to happen naturally. So that's one of the big things that a lot of them vets taught me, like, man, get your massages every week. Make sure you're stretching, like, before practice, after practice, hydrating, nutrition, like everything. It's all important.
Makes sense. It's all the ultimate investing in yourself that way.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Another kind of question going off your early years. So, what was it like for you going to that? So I believe it was the 2015 draft. You went, undrafted, but you were signed almost immediately after the draft to the Seahawks. So what was that? Are there conversations that go on beforehand? How did you know, what was going on that day?
So, really, a lot of the groundwork is put in before the draft happens. So, leading up to the draft, these different scouts will either come out to visit you, or, they'll have you out for workouts, different things like that. And you just get to know them, whether it's sitting down watching film or, doing different things. Mm-hmm. So for me, it kind of happened. It did happen fast because, for one, I was actually in talks with Green Bay. They called me on draft day and told me that they were going to draft. Actually, it was like maybe 4 picks before their 6th round pick. Mm-hmm. They would call me and said they were going to end up taking me and just stay by my phone. What ended up happening was, I forget the kid's name, fullback out of Oklahoma. He actually didn't end up getting picked up. So the fact he was still on the board, they took him. And then they called me after the fact and were like, yeah, we want to come sign you as, an undrafted free agent. And I told them, nah, like, I didn't like the way that whole thing went down. So like, nah, I'm good. Seattle, they called me and they're like, we're not going to say we're going to sign you as a free agent, but you can come out as a rookie tryout. So I was like, I'll just take my shot out there. And so that's what I did. I went out to the 3-day rookie camp, balled out, and then they signed me on the 3rd day. So never went back like that.
That's awesome. That I mean, the one thing you always hear when you around the draft is they get to those late rounds, like you're talking about, and they're like, some people almost just rather be a free agent, not get drafted, because then you pick your situation. Was there something about Seattle that really attracted you, like you were really excited to go out there in particular?
I mean, well, for one, that was the year after they went to the Super Bowl. They had lost that year. That was the year after they had lost to the Patriots. Was my first year. So
still coming off back-to-back Super Bowls, that's a good reason.
They have an amazing team already. I mean, Pete Carroll. I was a big USC fan growing up, so Pete Carroll was always one of my favorite coaches. And then just knowing the type of locker room that they had there, I was like, if I can get in there, this is a no-brainer. So I made it work, and I mean, we had the Legion of Boom there. That was when everybody was together. Earl, B, all of them. Like, we had a crazy lineup. So it was like every day in practice, you was playing against the best defense in the world. And it felt that way. But it really prepared you, and it really got your mind on a whole different level. Like, Bobby Wagner literally made me a better player just from, because he was one of the players, he would tell you, yeah, I see you're doing this. I can tell by the way your foot is cocked or the way your eyes are, you know what I mean? Just little things. He'll come and tell you. And that's why they're such a great team, because they actually care about each other and they care about being the best, and they're very competitive, like super competitive. So it was a no-brainer for me. I mean, I was like, I'll take my chances out there. Green Bay.
That's a great point. I mean, I didn't think about that at that point. You couldn't have picked a more exciting locker room to join. Incredible.
learning from Marshawn, Turbo, all of them. So it was dope.
Awesome. Yeah, that was actually one of my questions, based on, getting to work with those players. I know you just touched on like Robbie Wagner and stuff. What was kind of your lasting, memories or impacts from, really those interactions with those players, whether it was, getting to work with Russ, being in the running back group, and Tyler Lockett, like you said, Marshawn Lynch, what's something that those guys really taught you maybe off the field?
I would say that honestly, the people who taught me the most off the field would definitely be like Richard Sherman. He taught me a lot just about how to move in the league, and not even so much from like a player standpoint, but from like a financial standpoint, as the different benefits you have, through the NFLPA, and different things that you're basically owed that they don't tell you, but you have to look into. So he just kind of put me on game as far as different things. We had many conversations. It was just a big mentor to me. So, but I mean, I'm friends with a lot of them guys still to this day, and I can't say that they taught me a whole bunch that I use off the field. They taught me a lot on the field.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I made great friends though. So
that's pretty awesome. I think the Rich Sherman point's always good. I've always, he's always been an outspoken guy, but even I think it was his last contract or the last tour or whatever, he negotiated himself. So like, he's a smart dude. I always had great respect.
Oh, yeah.
Like he talks the talk, and I've always loved him because he backs it up on the field, and he's also a smart dude. Like when you're a player negotiating your own contracts, it rarely goes like well. But look at him. He's making an all-pro career out of it.
Nah, he's extremely intelligent. Like extremely intelligent. So
is he Stanford guy, right?
Yeah.
I remember even like this year, he was like, I think I'm going to be leaving the Niners in like week 14 or 15. He's like, yeah, they have free agents to sign, the salary cap and everything. Like, I think I might just move on. I was like, I've never seen a player like just think about it so smart. Like, he's a step ahead of the team. Like, he just understands what they need to do. He understands their future and gets the business. And he's like, listen, just realistically, I don't think it's going to work out. And I always thought that was amazing. So I thought that popped in my head when you mentioned him.
Yeah, there's a reason he's been in the league as long as he has.
That's true. That's true. Great. I mean, that goes back to what you're saying with Seattle. Great teammates to work around. I like that.
Absolutely.
So one thing that I thought was really funny, it's one of my favorite little NFL side stories. So in 2013, Joe Flacco, he signed a 6-year contract with the Ravens, which at that time made him the highest paid player in the league. And the first thing he did was go to McDonald's and went to the drive-thru and bought a 10-piece McNugget meal for like $7. I just think that's, so funny, and how it really shows these players, a lot of them don't let the contracts, the money, or, getting to that level really, impact what they like, what they do on a daily basis. So, what was kind of the first thing you did, or maybe first little thing you bought when, you signed that deal?
First thing I bought was a gold Cuban link chain from Shine Jewelers. I went to there. I was with a couple of my homies. We went in there, and I was just feeling myself. I was like, man, fuck it, I'm getting this chain. So I bought it. My mom was like, you bought a chain? I was like, Ma, like, relax.
Hey,
don't worry. Because I'm not one who like just goes out and buys a whole bunch of unuseful things that I don't need. So, but that was like one of the things. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I bought that, and then I bought a lot of shoes, like a lot of Jordans that I still haven't worn to this day. You're sitting on them, but it is what it is.
I love those stories, because it's like you literally, you worked your whole life for that moment. You've been playing football, I'm sure from like since you were young, and you're training and putting out the extra work in. I always remember you working out hard and dominating when you were in high school. So that's awesome. I love hearing stories like that. My man getting out the new Jordans and the shining chain and everything.
I had all the Yeezys, all that. That was one thing. I bought a lot of shoes. A lot
Good
of shoes.
Shit.
My mom was on my ass. I'm not gonna lie. It was, bro.
That's awesome, though.
Sweet. Yeah, I have so many like Nikes and Jordans that I've worn maybe once or twice, and they've just been sitting in boxes because I'm like, I don't want to mess them up. But then it's like I dropped 100+ on them. Like, God put them to use or something, but nah. So
it got to a point where I wasn't even damn near seeing the shoes. Like, my dude would hit me like, yo, I got these dope Yeezys coming in. Like, they're dope. Like, all right, just send them. Shit, let me know how much they are. I was like, all right, I got to chill.
That's great.
Nice. So I know we kind of did talk a little bit about what have you kind of learned off the field stuff. For you, what is playing football through your whole life really, what has that taught you kind of mentally or, personally?
No, I mean, the game of football has taught me a lot. I mean, it's taught me, to be mentally tough. Things aren't going to be handed to you. It's not going to be easy, You have to work for what you want to get.
Absolutely.
So it taught me a lot of like life lessons just as far as being mentally tough. It also taught me how to work with a team, how to be a leader. I mean, honestly, I could probably sit here all day and tell you things that football has taught me just because I've been around the game for so long and I have learned so much. I met so many, great coaches, so many great mentors, so many great people. It's put me in, amazing positions to meet amazing people and do amazing things. So, I mean, football has taught me a lot.
Hey, that's awesome. We love to hear that. We all love football. It does, man. You can't teach those values and those lessons you get from playing sports like that.
No, for sure.
So I saw on, I forget what it was. It was one of the like websites that covers like all player stats and stuff like that. And I saw you were like officially listed as a running back / fullback / tight end. So like what kind of was your role? Do you think, did you just kind of move around to wherever, you kind of needed to fit, or was it a certain position that you really always gravitated towards?
He was position weapon.
So I always loved running back, but on every team I've ever played for, I've always played wherever I needed to play. Wherever I was needed to play, I would play.
Right.
And so, when I went to Purdue, they started me. I went as a running back. Then we didn't have a fullback, so I played as a fullback. But at the same time, was still getting my one back snap. So that's why I was kind of like running back, fullback. The first time I played tight end was with the Seahawks. So it was interesting. Before the draft, they wanted me to take a video of myself running, the whole passing tree out of the, tight end position. So I did that. Fast forward, I'm on a team. Jimmy Graham gets hurt. They moved me into the tight end room. So now I'm actually a full-blown tight end. But at the same time, I was already playing the H-back position, which is very similar. It's just you don't have your hand down most times. You're more so in motion. So I kind of already knew the playbook anyways. And then from there, that just kind of showed them, I can do all three positions. So they just put me wherever, they kind of needed me. So
right.
It just kind of worked out that way. But I would do whatever I need to do to make the team. So
that versatility comes in handy. What did you think what was the hardest part of the transition kind of from the backfield to tight end? With the blocking, the receiving, the routes?
The blocking. It's so much different, with your hand in the dirt. You got, Mike Bennett in front of you. And as soon as by the time you come up, try to come off the ball, he's past you. Like the reaction time is much, much, much faster. So you have to be fast off the ball. Like you have to anticipate. You have to know where you're going before the play even starts based off of the alignment. So that was the biggest thing for me. I like hitting people with a head of steam, because it's just that's how inertia works,
Yeah, you got that running back kind of idea, you want to be the train going.
Yeah, for me, that's what I love. The whole open is just me and you. That was my thing. I didn't like when your hands are on my chest before I can even
right there.
So that's the biggest difference to me was the blocking, and then just knowing the techniques, double team blocking with the tackles, because at the same time you are just another lineman at times.
Yeah.
You have to know all the lineman calls and all that stuff. So that was probably the biggest challenge. But the routes and all that stuff, that was all easy.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, even it goes back to what you were saying earlier, where like you see the speed difference with the linemen. Now they're big and they can move quick like that, and the right line up right in front of you. And
they work on getting off the ball too. So a lot of times they're jumping the snap count most times. So it's hard. It's not an easy job. I'll tell you that.
I totally believe you in that. I can't imagine that. I mean, if he tripped over me as he threw me to the ground, maybe that would be my blocking abilities. But hats off to you, man. The versatility is a big factor in success, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd probably get out of my stance and he'd already be behind me. So
yeah.
The one thing I didn't realize until I kind of looked into it. So your senior year at Purdue, your running back field was pretty legit. I mean, you had Akeem Hunt, formerly of the Texans, yourself, and then you had Raheem Mostert, who's with the 49ers right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious, like, what was that dynamic with? I mean, I saw some highlights where you were out there throwing people on the ground and blocking, so they can run out the sideline. What was that room like? How'd you guys work together?
Oh, we were a brotherhood. Like, to this day, we still a brotherhood. I was talking to Akeem today, actually. Raheem,
nice.
I talked to them on Saturday. So it's like we always have been a brotherhood, because the thing is, we all came in together as freshmen. So before we were even balling and playing like that, just the fact we're in the same position group, we were there for each other. I mean, in practice, fights would always break out. You already knew if one of the running backs was going to fight, the whole running back room was in there. And I'm serious, there was big fights where the whole running back room would run in there, but that's just how we were. So
that's
we wanted
awesome.
each other to be great. I would tell them, like, bro, follow me, because they knew I'm gonna throw the block for you, just hit it.
Right.
And they would hit it. And I mean, we made a lot of great things happen, and kind of see that they kept going with it. So that was just we rode for each other, and that's why we were so good.
Hey, that's what you love to hear. That's the teammate bonds everyone talks about, and how tight it is like that to grow with them, especially when you're all freshmen together like that. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So unfortunately, you did have, I think you tore your ACL. You had a couple injuries. What was that like? I feel like a lot of people see that NFL injuries and even, other major league sports injuries happen all the time. And it's just a matter of the game, but it's like, they're still people, they still go through shit. So what was that, kind of that recovery process like for you? Was it, hard on you mentally or anything like that?
Oh, it's definitely hard. I mean, so freshman year, it was hard because freshman year is when I did my ACL, my MCL. It was like the second to last game of the season. We were going to a bowl game. So it was like, as a freshman, it messes with you mentally a lot, especially because you're like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get back on the field or when I'm going to get back on the field. I don't know if I'm going to lose my spot, like none of that. So, I mean, that one, I kind of just worked through it, and I was just trying to get back as fast as I could. I came back in like 5.5 months, 6 months or something like that.
Damn.
And I came back strong. So that was cool. With the league, that was a whole different animal, because if you get hurt, like you're already like so replaceable. As soon as you get hurt, now you're like, all right, now you're a liability instead of an asset. So you're like, all right, they're gonna get me up out of here now. So I rehabbed it as hard as I could, and I got it back pretty fast at the same time. And luckily, they actually brought me back, so it kind of worked out okay. And then even still though, after you have an injury, it follows you, especially in the league like that.
Yeah.
Like your liability. So eventually it did catch it caught back up with me, but that's part of the game. So
you are right about that. Everyone talks about injuries. Sometimes you be watching ESPN, you think it's like Discovery Health or something. We're talking about body parts, ACLs, MCLs, CCLs, all kinds of stuff. But it's tough. It's tough. But hey, man, you still look strong. You're able to fight through those injuries, tough ones too. So that's amazing.
Oh yeah. I mean, it definitely came back strong from them, but there's some bears. ACL and definitely Achilles. It's a rough one. For sure. It's a rough one.
Nick my Achilles walking by, and I'm going to the ground crying. That's tough right there.
As far as obviously where you are right now, you're working with your father in that business and stuff like that. So not in the league. What's kind of your lasting memory, so to speak, of your time spent? It seems like the friendship you made, those bonds you had with your former teammates and stuff are still strong. Is that kind of the biggest takeaway from all that? Is those kind of memories?
Absolutely. The memories, just being able to have played at that stage, especially in Seattle. I mean, Seattle, if you guys ever have a chance, definitely go to CenturyLink Stadium, because it's a different experience. I mean, and that's coming from somebody who grew up as an Eagles fan. Here, it's great. The fans around, everything like that is different out there.
Okay.
I mean, literally, they feed off of the energy. Is just crazy. Like it's
12th
crazy.
man.
The 12th man is a real thing. 12th man is a real thing. Like kickoff, you can't hear anything in that stadium, and it also has to do with the acoustics of the stadium. So
okay,
playing at CenturyLink is definitely one of my biggest things. Like I remember the first time coming in, coming out the tunnel, strapping up, all that. It was crazy. So I think obviously all the friendships I've made and the people that I've gotten close with, that's a big thing. But the first time walking out on the CenturyLink, that was definitely gonna be something I'll never forget.
definitely have to put that on my list. I always wonder when people, talk about 12th men or like even an Arrowhead, all those like different away stadiums. I'm like, yeah, listen, Philly, we're rowdy, we're loud, we get it. Like, I don't know if they're like comparing it to like the Chargers or the Jacksonville like teams that like can't get fans in general, but I mean, Philadelphia sports. So if you're telling me CenturyLink is a wild time, then I'm gonna have to put that on the list.
CenturyLink is wild. I've actually played in the Arrowhead too, and Arrowhead gets loud, but Arrowhead gets loud because like they hit on the back of the seats, so it's not like
okay.
It gets louder. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They hit the back of the seats and all that other stuff, so it's different. It's not like CenturyLink, and I'll tell you right now. I'll say that I think CenturyLink will probably be one of the hardest places to play in the country. For teams to come into CenturyLink and win a game is very hard. You have to take the crowd out of it because if not, it's over with. Like that's just how it rolls out there, and they love it. They don't have anything else. They have NHL now. That's something new, but they don't have an NBA team. They don't have anything like that. So they go hard for UW football and the Seahawks.
That's a good point. We got a verified source guy that was out there. He knows the sound. He knows what it's like. So it's a win when you go out there and win.
It's different for sure.
It's interesting.
So that's actually a great segue for this question. You playing in a stadium like that, and then at that NFL level, what was that kind of adjustment for when you spent some time in the AFL? Obviously, those fields are a lot smaller, and I think they're mostly indoors.
Yeah, they're all indoors.
Yeah. So what was that experience like?
AFL is a whole different game. It's not even close to the same. I mean, honestly, I didn't even learn all the rules. Like I was, it's hard. Like you only have 8 people on the field at a time. You have your 3 down linemen. The defensive ends, they have to go like the linebacker. That's what I played. It's called Mac Backer. You can't go outside of your defensive lineman or else that's illegal defense. Like
really,
it's crazy and it's super fast paced, super like high scoring, but it's a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely a lot of fun and a great experience, but it's completely different. Like arena football is a completely different game.
Yeah, I remember I went to a couple of Soul games when I was a kid, but the only thing I ever remember was that it was like 50 yards and like you said, it was super fast paced, but I never really looked into the rules, so I didn't know about box areas and stuff like that where you're not allowed to leave and stuff. So that's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's just the Oklahoma drill with Canadian football.
With the quarterback.
That's a great comparison.
Nah, I mean, but there's some big hits. I mean, people get put over the walls. Like,
I do remember that. Yeah,
it's a lot of fun for fans, especially kids, because they get really involved with the game. And a lot of times, you'll never get to see football that up close. So, I mean, and there are great athletes in that league. So, for people to think, it's arena football, there's NFL caliber athletes that are playing in there that either just never got a shot or they were in the league and they're just older now. So, it was fun. It was definitely a lot of fun, but I'm done with them days. It's hard on your body.
I believe that.
Awesome. So, I mean, I feel like, I didn't want to grill you on questions for, a couple hours here. I just wanted to kind of get, a feel for what your time in the NFL was like and, that kind of process. And obviously you display you're a very humble guy, definitely appreciate your time there and made great friends and stuff like that. So that's awesome to hear.
For sure.
I was curious because Tim and I will definitely talk about this, but did you have any thoughts on the whole swapping of draft picks with the Niners, Dolphins, and Eagles now moving back to number 12?
I mean, not really. Honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I don't even follow news unless it's like my close homies. Like all my close homies who play in the league, I always follow like everything that's going on with them. And then like obviously the big headlines, I'll check them out here and there, but I don't even follow any of that stuff anymore because it's just like, it hits too close to home for me at this point. So
feel that
I watch football like in moderation at this point,
Hey, it looks like your boy's getting a new quarterback though from that trade. The Niners going up to pair Raheem with someone new. Get Jimmy G out of there, and looks like a young buck's coming in.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
That'd be exciting. I think Raheem is the most underrated running back in the league, and I love him with Kyle Shanahan. I think that team could be scary. I don't know, who they're thinking there at 3, but it definitely caught my eye.
Yeah, it's funny when you see people talk about fast running backs in the league and stuff because people don't realize how fast Raheem is. because his stride is so crazy. It doesn't look like he's running as fast as he is. But he clocked like the 2 fastest times, I think, this year.
Yeah.
Out of NFL running backs. So, like, when he hits the hole, he's gone, and he's strong. He's like, Raheem has always been strong as hell. Like, he's a dog, man. Raheem is a dog.
He was on the Eagles for like a hot second, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He actually brought him up, see some family and stuff. You know, he would come for home cooked meals and stuff like that. So,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
No, they family to us. So.
Did you like a March Madness bracket?
I actually didn't, man.
Okay.
Honestly, like, I watched it after Purdue lost. I was done with it, so I didn't really care. But
yeah,
I really haven't been doing much of that at all lately. It's been like really, really business focused, and I've been hella busy. So,
all right,
good for you. Good for you. I gotta say, my bracket was complete booty. The only thing, and I mean literally the only thing I got right, is I was on that Mean Green North Texas Pride, and them beating Purdue was the only thing I called.
God.
I was
tough loss, man. Tough loss. I know. I was gassing up the Big Ten so much. I thought going into this conference, there was going to be the Big Ten Smackdown on everyone else. And
it was bad.
Tough first day.
I did see that. It was bad.
Yeah. But hey, listen, these things happen. That was the only thing I got right on my brackets. Everything else was completely wrong.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That was the only thing you got right.
Yeah. I'll take my upset where I can get it. It was great talking to you, man. I really appreciate you hopping on. I appreciate you taking the time. It's been great to catch up. I loved hearing the insight you got there, and you definitely listen. You definitely have the boss personality for you. I know why your dad's getting ready for retirement, man. So best of luck to you. I'm hoping. Hey, and I haven't watched much Survivor, but you tell me what season, and I'll have it on, baby. I know this is easy money.
We'll see if I get chose.
I need to know I need to know if FanDuel or like DraftKings are putting odds on Survivor, because that's easy money. I'll take whatever odds you're getting, put it down. That's easy. Yeah.
Yeah, trust me. If I get out there, you bet your money on me, because I'll
love it, my man. But hey, we do appreciate you taking your time out. We know you're busy, so thank you again. It's been great.
Absolutely, man. It's been great. Appreciate y'all having me. It's been fun.
Absolutely, brother. Take it easy. Have a great one. Enjoy the rest of the year, and enjoy the summer, my man.
Y'all have a good one, man.
All right, brother. Take it easy.
Thanks, man.